So, Brother Montcalm, if you want to introduce the professor again, so that we can have some continuity throughout the series,
Okay.
so that when people come in, they go. I'm sure somebody's going to come in at different points, just so people have a good idea of who the professor is and his expertise.
Okay, so Professor Ahmadou, which is here with us at the moment, is he got expertise in African history and slave trade as well. So he knows a lot, and then he's the current head of history department at the University of Ngaoundéré in Cameroon, which is in northern part of Cameroon. He's also a professor in different universities, like in France, where he traveled to actually share the knowledge. So I'm gonna say that we really privileged to have somebody with that massive knowledge. Okay, I'm gonna let the professor speak.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Monkam. Thank you, all of you, to attend this session again. I'm very happy to be with you for the second Sunday, and I think we have many things to share together. And I want to ask if I can share my screen for some minutes, and after that we can continue discussion, just a little, very short presentation about the Tikar, and then after we can have a discussion on the last session and also of the session of today. I know that many of you have many questions which are not answered last Sunday.
Sure, sure, Professor. You can share your screen. You you go ahead. I think you
Okay,
got the right to do that.
okay. We have done some presentation, and we said that Cameroon is a land of diversity. We have more than 250 tribes. We have some cultural diversity related to this huge number of tribes and ethnic groups. We have geographical diversity, also historical diversity we mentioned. So in the process of enslavement too, we will have that diversity. We can reflect that diversity. And we conclude by saying that Cameroon is the summary of Africa because of that very great diversity. Cameroon population today is around 30 to 35 million. So Grassfield peoples are 10% of this population. This could be due to the high number of Tikar people who were kidnapped and sold into slavery in the Americas. It is known by historians that those people of Southern and West Cameroon were those who were sold as an enslaved abroad through Nigeria to Calabar seaports, and also that of the Atlantic Ocean from Cameroon to Campo. The Bamun people and other ethnic groups have also asserted their link to the Tika people. Yes, we used to say that the Bamun are descendants of Tika, and the Bamun kingdom was founded by a Tika prince, a Tika prince who founded the Bamun kingdom. But not also Bamun. You have the Kom, you have the So, you have the Ndok, you have the Bafut. So all those peoples of the grasslands of Cameroon has a Tika lineage. There are currently 6 adjoining Tika kingdoms because we have Bamuns, we have Kom, so and so on, but we have those who are continuing to remain to define themselves have Tikars, and we have Tikar kingdoms like in Bankim, in Ngambe Tikar, in Kom, in Ditam, in Gume, and Ga. Those are remain actual Tika kingdoms, and the others are related or descendants of the Tika. Bamun and the Tika are renowned as great artists. We know that, who create monumental sculptures of bronze and beads. Cultural exchange between the Tika and the Bamun have enriched both groups. For instance, the Bamun adopted numerous words from the Tikar language, as well as from other languages, including Bafanji, Bamali, Bambalang, and so on. And I want also about the founding of Tikar kingdoms. We can go further to the 14th century, and you have two Tikar brothers, Tinki and Gie, who founded two autonomous Tikar kingdoms, Kingdom of Bankim and the Kingdom of Ngambe Tikar. But other princes have created many other kingdoms related to Tikars, like that of Shariyen, who is the founder of Bamun Kingdom. You have Prince Ngunje established in Ditam. You have also Prince Po, who founded the kingdom of Ngambe. Prince Batu created the kingdom of Nga, and Princess Nguen also established in the kingdom of So. So in the second wave, who left Bankim to establish the kingdom of Kong, you have Prince Indi and Prince Uhin, who migrated south, founding the villages of We and Ina, respectively. However, these settlements never developed into full-fledged kingdoms like previous order. And the one renowned prince of Tikar we mentioned, Sarien, established the kingdom of Bamun at Fumban, which is a very known place today. With that huge kingdom, dominated all the area, conquer many of the neighboring kingdoms and chiefdoms to establish a very big kingdom from 14th or early 15th century. So I put on those historical facts, historical background to settle our today's discussion. And for the next time, we will talk about Bamileke themselves and see who are they, where are they established today, and what are the main features. So thank you for listening to that to this introduction. And now I am going to hear you and to answer for the questions, and maybe I will give some compliments. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor. That was really a huge knowledge. So I myself, I learned so many things there. And you guys got any questions or anything you want to know in regard to what Professor just said?
Yeah, Brother Monk, if you could bring up a map of that, because he went over a lot of places in
Mm-hmm.
the grass fields that I'm sure
Oh,
many of us don't even know where to place those different kingdoms and
uh,
how that looks.
okay. I'm gonna ask Professor if you got the map on your presentation because it's still managed by Professor the presentation. So uh, you got the map of the area on the presentation, Professor?
We have this map, but it is not
We
very
only got
adapted
one
to
image
all.
at the screen.
Yes,
That's
for the next time, I will look for a map representing all the Tika chiefdoms and Bamileke kingdoms. And then for
Mhm,
now, I just have this map. We have Fumban at
mhm.
the yes, and around Fumban, the Bamun area. But also between the Fumban Bamun area and Adamawa, you have that area mentioned between Adamawa, Bamun, and the Sanaga River in the southeast.
Oh, right. I remember, Sister Mwanju, you share a very massive map of the origin of the Chika kingdom and then the link with other Bamileke kingdom, everything. You still got that map?
I'll see if I can find it.
Yeah, I think I don't know where I can find it. That was actually a good map because that shows the Chika
Yeah, let me
kingdom.
see if it might be in the group. Let me see if I can find it.
Okay.
Okay.
Anyone else got any question or anything in relation to what Professor says? Or you want to find out about the Chika, the Bamileke, about your people?
I just got a quick question. I keep hearing us talk about that the Bamileke people and the Tikar people are some of the same people. How did that come about?
Please.
Should I ask in French, Professor?
What's the question? I didn't understand very
Okay.
well.
Go ahead, brother Jerry.
Okay. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. Greetings to you.
Thank you.
Yeah, my question was, we talk a lot about the Bamileke people and Tikar people are the same people.
Yes.
Are they the same people? And what's the history on that?
Yes. Related to history, Bamilekes are descendants of Tikar, who themselves are descendants of the Mbum, coming from the some sources talk about them coming from the Night Valley, like the many other African peoples. So you have the Mbums coming from that the valley, the Night Valley, to that region of North Cameroon, North Central Cameroon, and then from the Mbum you have the Tikar, because all the Tikar or kingdoms have been founded by princes of Mbum origin. The Mbum are now in the region known as the Adamawa region of Cameroon. And from the Tikar, you have the Bamun, but you have also those known as Bamileke today. But we will see for the next session. The name Bamileke also is a regrouping name in which you have many other differences, many other. If you ask someone, who are you a Bamileke, he will say no. I am Photo, I am Chang, I am Bamenjida, I am
Bafang.
Banjun, Bafang, and so on. So it is difficult. Bamileke is just a generic name regrouping very different people in that area. So we will see what is the origin of the word Bamileke, and also those groups who are also related to the Tikar as their descendants.
Thank you. That was a good question. I'm just going to add another question on that question as well, because I was speaking to somebody who watched the video we did last week, and then he was telling me that no, the Bamileke are not Chika. The Bamileke just when they left Egypt, they stopped at the Chika land, and that doesn't make them a Chika. So, what do you think about that, Professor?
Yes, I mentioned those cultural exchanges between groups.
Okay.
And if you remember, I talked about that practice of exogamous marriages and so on. And if peoples live in the same area,
yeah,
there are forcefully many relations. So now the difference is very difficult to establish. To know who is who. So no ethnic purity, or I don't know, claiming, but you have some brassage and some ethnic intercourse, and it is difficult to establish. And this is the very big lesson I learned from that study of slavery, because I found many ethnic groups in the same family, having ancestors, descendants, and father, and so on. So in those big families, it is difficult to establish who is who. Rather, maybe now we are using DNA. It is very helpful,
Yeah.
but in ethnic, cultural, linguistics, you have many intercourse between those peoples living in the same areas, and
Okay.
with those marriages. And if you want me to talk about Bamileke, you know that Bamileke, in the Bamileke society, is that question of having big lineages.
I mean, I know that I myself believe that as a Bamileke, we got origin from the Chika, but there's a lot of other Bamileke out there who contesting that. They say that no, because the Bamileke they migrated and then they stop in the Chika land doesn't make them a Chika. So we understand, like Professor says, when people stay in the same area for longer, there's a mix. They start mixing each other and everything, and then that's how we also got a similar culture with the eastern part of Nigeria, which is the Igbo, because the biggest port in the area used to be in Calabar. So they used to capture people from Cameroon, taking them to Calabar. They'll be there for maybe 6 months, maybe even 1 year before they can embark on the biggest ship to America. So by the time they stay over there, they mix also, and then the oppressor wanted to have children as well. So they wanted people to have children. So they'll push them to have children as well. And then that's how when you we go in the eastern part of Nigeria, and then you go in the area where we all came from, you're gonna see that there's a lot of we look like each other, and then we practice a similar culture as well. We haven't got same name. Nowadays you're gonna find some Igbo names. You're gonna find in Cameroon, in the western part, or in the Grassfield part of Cameroon as well.
Well, that's part of why I asked that question, because
Yeah.
my DNA came back showing Cameroon, but
Hmm.
it didn't show what tribe.
Yeah.
But when I had another DNA test done on my grandfather's side, it came back and showed Igbo.
Hmm.
So the Igbo may be where my tie is with the Cameroonian people based on what you were just talking about.
Yeah, it does explain. So let me just see if I can share the map of Cameroon.
Come, I sent you the maps in the WhatsApp group.
Oh, thank you, thank you. I'll
And
share.
while she's doing that, I was interested in knowing what year was that map that was put up there, because that's important too. Because as years have gone by,
Hmm.
they have geographically cut up maps and redone stuff.
Exactly, exactly. So let
I
me just.
think I think one thing that we really got to continue to keep in mind is that we are a mixture of all those, like we kind of spoke about last week, right?
Yeah,
And a lot of these things that happen, especially to us, happened before there was a Cameroon,
Yeah,
before
yeah.
there was a
exactly,
Nigeria, right?
exactly.
Like these people lived amongst each other. The only reason why there's a Nigeria and Cameroon is because someone drew a line, actually just drew a
That's right.
line. There was no natural, there
Exactly,
was no nothing, but someone drew a line, put a guard there and
exactly.
said you can't come across. Now you have all these people who were, and I can't remember the word that the professor used, but were intermarrying, right?
Yep,
Yeah, it was a cool word,
yep.
but that's what it is. Like there is no, especially for us, like we kind of get into kind of trace back and pinpoint, but there really is no pinpoint. Like but before there was that red line on the eastern part of Nigeria and western part of Cameroon, them people were running around, living each other and dealing with each other.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Intermarriaging, trade, commerce, their kind of slavery, not the slavery that we know today in the West, but you know, that is just natural. What I look at now is like Cameroon is the smallest part of my ancestry, but it happens to be my father's lineage, and that was the one I could do. And we just have to remember that it's only 2%. If it says you're Nigerian based on where Nigeria is today, then you have all of that, right? I got 19% Nigerian. That's the highest percentage that I have. So I know there is someone, whether it's my mother's father, who I've never tested, my father's mother's line, or somewhere along those lines. It's all in there, or across of all the lines. Like, all we can do is figure out which one we want to connect with that one, and take it as far as you can. Because if we continue to try to do every one of them, um, I don't think we'll get to, depending on what your goal is, the essence of any one that you're connected to. Uh, and so that's the way I look at it. Like, which one do you most feel a connection with? And I chose, again, like I said, Cameroon over Guinea-Bissau and the Belantas, because I knew someone that I could go talk to, and I have this big platform, that I can continue to go back and forth with, which is important to me. And spiritually, it seemed like a stronger connection. So, we're all of those. Like, we can't disconnect and include my white ancestry, wherever that came from. Like, it's there. So, God had a plan for that too. I can't fight whatever that is.
Waste of time if you do try to fight it.
Right. I'm just trying to see if they got some money so I can try to get some of that.
Well, some of them are actually coming and getting money through the whatchamacallit thing. Not the per capita. I got per capita on my mind. Um, reparation.
Yeah, yeah.
I've been
That-
seeing some things.
yeah, that's crazy too.
It is.
Um, does anyone else have anything to share or ask or anything else like that? So
Okay,
we get
I'm
the
gonna quickly
professor
go
back.
through the map. Can you guys see the map I've shared on the?
Yes.
Yes.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I can't see it properly. Somehow I cannot see. Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing and then start again. Yeah. Okay, so if you look at the map over here, that's a map of Cameroon. And then we've got the border with Nigeria from the north all the way to southeast. Okay, if you look at this region over here, that's the southeast Nigeria, that's the Igbo land. And then the area where we, the Chika Grassfield came from, I mean, origin is somewhere around here. And then the you got over here, which is all the Grassfield, which is close to Nigeria. So again, people was getting captured uh, by the coast over here, the coast of Cameroon, taken to Calabar, which is the southeast of Nigeria. And then people used to stay there for quite long before they could actually board. So you can see that the time they stay over there, they mix with people. And again, at that time it wasn't called Cameroon and it wasn't called Nigeria. So people was going through them area. And then that's how there's a lot of similarity. So the culture, everything, food, name, everything is the same thing. And then when you go up in the northeast as well, we got like a massive border with the Fulani. You're gonna find them around here. The Fulani in Cameroon and Nigeria, they're the same as well. They share the same culture. And then at one point, all this area over here, some area over here, used to be. I mean, it used to be bigger than that. It used to be part of Cameroon. So the map used to go all the way here. And then they had a referendum in 1961 asking if they want to join Nigeria or stay in Cameroon. So they decided to join Nigeria. So Cameroon lost part of the land over here. Some Nigerian today, like one of the vice president, he was born in Cameroon. At the time, used to be called Cameroon. But because the part moved to Nigeria, so he became Nigerian. But if you look at a lot of Nigerian who used to be in this area, they got birth certificate in Cameroon. The one born before 1961, they're formerly Cameroon, but they're Nigerian. So let me just have a look. I'm gonna see if I can find the former president, Atiku Mohammed.
But like you said, if you think about the Fulani, which is pretty much in every country over there in the Sahel in West Cameroon. Like these are the mostly the Islamic people who came in and just took over. So imagine even in Cameroon, and if it's called Fulani today, they just slapped the name on top of it because they took it over. But these are all still the same people, whether they're Bamaleke or Tikar or whatever. So whenever I look at Fulani now, I just look at it as a mixture, but that was whatever that country had, and it just someone just took and changed the name, and today it's Fulani instead of Igbo or Yoruba. Because I've seen it a lot in the Yoruba land too. So it's just crazy how those things are today, but it's still the same people, whether it's the Yoruba or the Igbo or the Balanta. They just put the name Fulani on it, and that's what we call it today. But
Yeah,
now it's kind of intermixed and everything else like that. But it's still the actual people from that area.
yeah. I have roots out of both of those places. A lot of
Hmm.
Yoruba, and my wife,
Hmm.
she's Tikar and
Hmm.
Cameroon.
Okay, if you look at this man, he was a Nigerian former vice president. So if you look at born, he was born in a town called Jeddah, which is Cameroon, now Adamawa in Nigeria. So he was born before the switch over from Cameroon to Nigeria. So his birthplace still Cameroon, and that's the flag at the time. And then now the same area is called Adamawa. We got Adamawa in Cameroon, and then we got Adamawa in Nigeria as well. So it's in the state of Adamawa, which is in Nigeria now. And then he became the vice president. He had an issue recently because he wanted to stand for president, and then they said, "No, you're not Nigerian. You're Cameroonian." So
Wow.
just because he was born in the area which was Cameroon before.
Yes, I'm listening to you. I am here.
Okay, Professor, you take over.
No, you can go. You go on. Go on. It's very
No, no, you
interesting.
take over. It's not. It's your meeting.
You are you are drawing boundaries.
I was just speaking about Achiku Mohammed.
Yes, yes. From Yola, Adamawa State
Exactly. He was born in Adamawa before Adamawa, that part became Nigeria.
area. That's true.
So he's Cameroon born, now Nigerian.
Yes. Like many other people,
There's a lot.
after the
Yeah.
yes after the plebiscite of 1961. Okay, we are listening to. I am hearing to you. If any question again.
Anyone got any question or?
I have a question. Are Bemaleke the only group or the only people who have this generic, well, I don't want to say generic, but this grouping of the name that way?
I need your help, Benson.
Okay, so if you can repeat the question again, please.
Okay, we say Bemaleke is really a group name, right?
Yeah.
Underneath that are multiple groups.
Yes.
Okay.
Are there other groups in Africa who have that type of label? You know?
Okay. Okay. So, Professor,
Yes.
you understand the question, yeah?
Yes. We have the example of the Beti. If you say Beti, the Beti, you have also many ethnic groups inside the group Beti, the big group Beti. You have Ewondo, you have Etol, you have Yezum, you have Yebokolo, you have Nanga, you have many other ethnic groups inside the big family we call Beti. You have the same thing with the Sawa. When you say the Sawa in the coastal area, you have the Douala, you have the Bakweri, you have the Izubu, you have many other coastal ethnic groups who refer to as Sawa, the group Sawa. And the main group is Douala, but you have many others. So in Cameroon, we have that kind of big names covering many other disparities.
Yeah. I mean, if I have to add something, yeah, like Professor says, Bamileke is a group, and within Bamileke, you're gonna find different language. Like I'm a Bamileke myself, and I'm part my group is Bafang, and then you're gonna see another Bamileke, which the group is could be Bamenjun, Banjun. There's different group of Bamileke, and then we all speak a different language. So, speaking about the Bechi as well, Bechi is a massive group in Cameroon as well. So, you do find the Bechi in Cameroon, you do find them in Equatorial Guinea, you do find them in Gabon, you do find them in Congo, and even in a country like Sao Tome and Principe, you do find some Bechi group there as well. So they call it the Fan Bechi. And then when they speak, their language is even closer. When a Bechi from Cameroon speak, a Bechi from Gabon, Guinea Equatorial, they understand each other correctly. Yeah. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. Although I have to say, I feel kind of funny. I'm like, well, because I kind of feel now I don't really know.
Uh-huh.
I'm kind of like it, but I feel like it doesn't, like the answer's still incomplete. Let me put it that way.
Okay. I get what you mean. I mean, like brother Gordon said the other day, um, when you find your route as Bamileke, there's so many different groups. And then how you gonna feel comfortable saying that okay, I'm part of this I'm part of this Bamileke group. If you know somebody which is Bamileke or somebody who actually also had his ancestral result and then travel to Cameroon, you can associate yourself to that group. Because the only way to actually pinpoint and find out where your ancestor came from, the house where they came from, the group where they came from. If you also did like maybe you probably put your result on Jet Match, and then you found a lot of people coming from a specific tribe in Cameroon, then you can associate yourself to that group of Bamileke. You
Yeah, find a
Bamileke, that's for
relative.
sure. Yeah, you Bamileke. But it's about because at the time where our ancestor was getting captured, we never had a Bamileke group called Bafan, called Banjun, called Bafusam, called all that. The administrative division came after that. Even a couple of years ago, we had seven provinces in Cameroon, seven region. They extended to 10 region, meaning that there's three other people there who now saying that I'm not part of this region I used to be before. Like my region where I was born, we used to call it the Central and South region. And then they divided to Central and South region. Now people from the South are going to say, I'm not from Central. People from the South are going to say, Central going to say, I'm not from the South. But we used to be from the same region. We used to be same. So everything is administrative division. And the best way really is to associate yourself to any Bamileke and then you can learn from that person. You can, if you do travel back home, you can go to that person village. Even I'll serve as a Bamileke. If you have to look deep into where we came from, it's probably not going to be Bafang.
Got a question now. You may be asking other questions. Okay. You and I, we know from DNA are related.
Yeah.
And you're also related to my wife, who is Tikar.
Yes.
Okay, we know this. All right. Now, what you just told me was knowing that for me, I don't show what tribe out of Cameroon that I come from, even though I know I have Cameroonian roots there. I could go through you, is what you were telling her, because of the connection from DNA that Bamileke. My wife could do I guess the same thing because it shows Tikar, because Tikar Cameroonian people, I mean, Tikar and Bamileke people, some of them are pretty much the same thing.
Yeah,
Correct?
correct.
Is that what you're saying? Okay.
That's what I'm saying. So if I'm going back home, we did both. I did an ancestry, ancestry.com. You did African ancestry or ancestry, and then we connected as cousin. So
Yes.
meaning that if I'm going back home, we going back together. I'll take you home. I'll take you to your
Yes.
family, introduce you because we already connected through that. So that's how
Exactly.
other people can do when you get a connection from somebody back home. You can
Right.
then associate yourself to that.
Right.
So to follow the bouncing ball, right? The only test I've taken is African ancestry.
Hmm.
I'm in the US. I'm in the US. So your suggestion is
Do ancestry.
ancestry.
Yes, you need to do ancestry.
I thought ancestry only, so ancestry will have tribal information?
No.
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 What ancestry will do for you. Go ahead. I didn't mean to butt in.
What test do you took? Is it African ancestry?
Correct.
You took African ancestry already, yeah?
Yes.
And you was told that you Bamileke.
100%.
Okay, so what you don't need to take any other test. So what you have to do, you can upload your
No,
results.
no,
Match.
no,
Mm,
No?
As I say, you can't do that.
not,
No.
no.
You got to
no.
do
Okay.
the
No.
ancestry test.
All right, all right.
African
So you
African
cannot
She
upload.
would need
ancestry,
to take an autosomal test
Okay,
Yep.
right?
okay.
if she wants to find relatives.
Exactly.
All right. I thought that you can upload African ancestry too.
Mm-mm.
No.
Okay, okay.
That's a different DNA. They're testing different
All
DNA.
right. So Jerry, brother Jerry, you had ancestry.com as well, yeah?
I did ancestry.
That's
When
why
I
we
done
connected.
ancestry, I
Correct.
downloaded it into GEDmatch.
Apologies, I didn't know that.
That's okay. And that's what I was going to tell her. You take that, put it in the GEDmatch. That's where you and I GEDmatch because GEDmatch gives you more detail.
Okay, okay, okay.
So I'm sorry. So ancestry, I thought that's only going to tell me country, that it will not.
It does. Okay, it does. But what you got to follow me on here, you can take that ancestry test and download it into GEDmatch. GEDmatch will open it up for more detail of what you have out of ancestry. Ancestry gives you regions, like you're saying, but it will break it down into more detail when you put it into GEDmatch. You can get permission from Ancestry to do that. They will give you a kit number. When you get that kit number, then it allows you to go into your GEDmatch and you will match up with other people that are in there.
So if we could just go back a little bit more, because I see where
Yeah,
Sister Jackie's confusion is.
Hmm.
So in African ancestry, they're only testing one
exactly.
line of your DNA, and for women, it's only the mitochondrial DNA.
Yeah.
So that's only 2% of your actual DNA, if I'm not mistaken. And Avante, you can correct me if I'm wrong. But in the other one, let's say ancestry, it's not testing your mitochondrial per se. It's testing your blood for every kind of connection that there is to find relatives. So when it started, it wasn't to take you totally back to a country. That was part of it, but the other part was to find these relationships that you have. So it tested all of your blood. Now, through that, it started to say, as they went out and went to these different countries and got different blood samples, here's an idea of where you may come from. So it could tell you maybe a country, but it couldn't tell you a lineage, an ethnicity. Now, what Brother Jerry is saying as far as GEDmatch is once you do your DNA test, there's a sequence that you have the right to get. And once you take Ancestry 23andMe, most of them have it, you can take that sequence and upload it into what's called GEDmatch, which is another site. What GEDmatch does is it takes that sequence, but once the sequence is in there, it lets you look at every other company that has done it, that the person put it in there. So if they've done 23andMe, if they've done Heritage, if they've done Living DNA, all those can go into this one site. So now, because if your family member took it in 23andMe and you took it in Ancestry, you would never know. But if you if and so to help people not have to take every test that's out there, like every test, and match them, they said, okay, if this is this one clearinghouse site, if you put yours in here, we could match it with all the other companies, so you have one place to go. Now you can get your cousins that did it on 23andMe and Living DNA and Heritage and all these other ones, and you don't have to spend money to go to them. And the main reason is because 23andMe and Ancestry, which are the two biggest, didn't share at all.
Right.
Okay. So
So,
the
but if you want cousins, so what they're saying is some Africans like Montcalm have done the ancestry test, so and then they upload it to GEDmatch. So no matter what company you've done it with, if you put it in there and you identify with Montcalm, now you know that you have an African person. I will say those when you put it in there, like I've done that also. Again, Cameroon is my smallest percentage, but I have seen Nigerian and some other Ghanaian relatives, and that's just because there's a way to do it in Ancestry or 23andMe also. You just
Yeah.
look for the country that they're from, and they might be in there. So there's all types of strategies if you wanted to do that and go deeper, but it's not 100% guaranteed that you're going to find somebody.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
I
true.
will tell you that.
I would
so
also like to add to what he just said too. When you get into the GEDmatch, it will actually start to break it down to what chromosome it's on and all of that. You can see the numbers. You can see how much percentile of what you have on GEDmatch.
okay, but so if I could just say this back, just to make repeat it back that I'm
Absolutely.
absorbing
Yep, go
what was
ahead.
there. So the other test, the test that you mentioned, it's really people matching based on what they have, right? I mean,
Which
taking my
one?
DNA.
GEDmatch?
Pardon?
Yeah. Yeah. You're talking
You're talking about
GEDmatch?
GEDmatch?
Correct.
So right, so that GEDmatch is a matching site, not a
Exactly.
testing site.
Right.
Yeah, right. No, but that's what I mean. So
Yeah.
go to Ancestry 20 or whatever it's called, 23andMe, and that's more. It's people. Other people have taken the test. They compare my results, right, and match me to those people.
Yes.
And then the details of all of that matching, I can pump into GEDmatch, which is then going to break it down, and maybe I connect with somebody who's taking it in on the continent, and now I have kind of a pinpoint. Okay.
Well, the reason why you're taking it to GEDmatch
Mm.
is not because you're actually looking for someone on the continent. You're taking it
Right.
to GEDmatch because you're trying to match it with the other companies that have that. So if you did it on Ancestry, you may find someone from Cameroon or wherever on Ancestry.
Okay.
But if there's other people who have taken it and they've done it through 23andMe, which is a different testing site, then you would have no way unless you spent the money to do 23andMe.
Exactly.
Okay.
What GEDmatch does, it says, okay, I don't care what company you've taken with, put it on here and we can match it no matter what company you're with.
Okay.
That's why you're doing it with GEDmatch, not just because it's an African thing. It's only because if it's a different company, and if they've uploaded it to GEDmatch, you can now be matched with them
Got
on
it.
that particular site. There's no other reason to do it, but because there's so many companies, you would spend a lot of money trying to do it on every single company that's out there.
Okay, but thank you for that clarification. But I mean, at the end of the day, all of that boils down to um, matching to an individual or individuals, actual people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who've taken those other
Because that's
tests.
what you asked about.
Yeah, and that at the end of the day is going to give me some indication of, okay, maybe there is someone on the continent that I match with, and that gives me more focus that, okay, maybe this is the group or group of people that I identify more with, right? As a
I wouldn't say identify more with,
You just
but
identify with people.
this is a definite place that I may be able, because not all of them can actually go back to where they're from, but I may be able to find a specific place in Africa that my answer may have come from.
Exactly. Well, that's what I mean. Because
Yes.
again, the very concept that Bamaleke is an aggregate, it's like, okay, well, how do I get under
But only
that
reason,
aggregation, right?
right? But what I would say though is, like, we have a brother here who we could probably go back with, Brother Malcolm. That the likelihood of you finding someone is very, 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 very small.
Mm.
Very, 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 very small. I have found no one on JetMatch yet that has taken the test. But there's a lot of people on there, so I can't say I went through all of them. I'm just saying I haven't found anyone yet. I have found a couple on Ancestry, but none of them. Only one was from Cameroon. The other ones were more from Nigeria and Ghana. So all I'm saying is you have a direct connection to someone now with Brother Malcolm, which you can now go back and partake with and become fully involved with until the science gets to a point where it says, yes, this is where you come from, because you will definitely, if that's what you're trying to do, unfortunately, be very frustrated through the process because it's Africans don't give up their stuff. Like
Exactly.
there's a big thing about giving up blood to anyone, spit,
Yep.
whatever it is, because of spiritual connotations to that.
Yep.
So the likelihood of you finding someone from where you come from is very daunting, and it could be very and challenging. So all I'm saying at this point is we weren't even supposed to get this far. And the fact that we've got this far, and think of how many people who are Bamaleke Tikar anywhere from Cameroon that are on ancestry.com, online.com, who aren't even, and don't, I'm not going to say they don't know about, but they haven't been connected with this group yet. So there's a lot of people out there that are struggling, frustrated, and everything else because they can't find a connection. And the ancestors guided you to this, that you chose to come here and be a part of this. And you have a brother who is very serious about doing whatever it takes to help you connect to your roots. All I'm saying is take this to the maximum until you can't take it no more, or until we find out a science that could take us and say, hey, this is the tribe you from. And by that time, the tribe will probably be gone anyway, because like everybody's trying to leave the tribal parts anyway and go to the big city. So I'm just saying maximize what you have, and don't be frustrated, because I was too. So I'm just letting you know, but I had to deal with all that and realize that part is not where we're at right now. We're at a point of you made the sacrifice. The ancestors called you out of all the people in your family. They called you to take the test, not just take the test, to be here and have a prince and princess and Brother Malcolm to help guide whatever question you have. So I just want to say that.
I appreciate all of that. Thank you very, very much, really, from the bottom of my heart. But I gotta
Can you,
say, it's
can you
something I have to kind of like absorb and sit with, because
Absolutely.
at the end of the day, this told me I was connected to the continent from the day I could look at myself in the mirror. You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
didn't need nobody to tell me that. I didn't need a test to tell me that. And so when I went and took the African ancestry test, and and to get something, and now what, 3, 4 years later to find out, yeah, well, you're kind of like in a glove. It's like, I gotta.
I get it. I get it. I had to deal with it also. That's why I'm just sharing you what I went through. But when I really sat down and meditated on it, it was like it was even a big struggle for me when it was so when I first got enlightened to all this, the first one that was done was my mother's side, which was Guinea-Bissau. And when I found that out, I jumped dead into it. Like boom, like but then I had to realize, wait a minute, that's only a part of you. So that made me do my dad's side. And then when I got that, it just happened to be a brother here who I've been friends with for a long period of time. He was Bamaleke. And so I had to make a decision, which was a very hard decision, because I'm ready to go to Guinea-Bissau and fight for some more freedom or whatever. But then it was like, but you're this also, and how do you deal with this? And so that was just my awakening to, hey, let's just deal with where we're at right now. Because like you, I'm like, and when I found out the Guinea-Bissau part, I'm like, well, which tribe in all of this? And there's really no science for that. Like if you can't find someone, and Guinea-Bissau is not big enough, and the Balanta are not big enough for a lot of people to have even done the test. So I know there was no way I was really going to find the exact place I came from. And the fact that at the time, most of those people left from Guinea and got pushed into Guinea-Bissau, right? So that diluted it even more. So just for me, I had to sit back and think, wait a minute, let me deal with the where I'm at. If I can go over and connect with any one of them, I'm way farther than I was ever supposed to be because we were not even supposed to be here. We were not supposed to ever identify with Africa in any type of way. So that was just my truth. So I understand where you're coming from. I go through it with my wife all the time. She'd be like, I want to know exact track. And I'm like, well, you haven't even talked to the people yet. Like, let's start talking to the people from Ghana, from the Akan. Like, let's start something. And she, no, I gotta find. I'm like, okay, well, that's your truth. I just know there's so much I need to learn and grow and deal with at this time that I can only deal with what we got here and move forward. Because if I get stuck and if I do my mother's father's side and this in Nigeria, the Yoruba or Igbo, now, what am I do then? I'm comfortable where I'm at. This is the one I feel most connected to. So I'm gonna take this as far as I can wherever it goes. And hopefully by the time I transition, that there is a test that could say, hey, you actually come from, or enough people have done it to say you actually come from here. But for me, that's not as important. My whole truth was the fact I didn't even know what a Cameroon was. That's long about Bamaleke. Like those are foreign. To now know so many different ethnicities in Cameroon and Guinea-Bissau and Nigeria and Ghana, like opened the world up. Because now I even know, like, we could probably name every country in Gaston Europe, because that's all we're taught, and can't name two or three in Africa. So that's my truth, sister. And I'm sorry to take up so much of your time, but I just had to share it because I just want you to maximize the love that's here and what we have here. Like when I look on African ancestry online and to see so many people who are excited, but they happen to be with a community that's very small. There's no information about it. Probably one or two people here in America. So they'll never be able to really truly connect with that unless they go. And even if they go, if that world hasn't opened up there, they may not even be accepted. So for us to have this and to be in a space where we can share and the fact that you can come here and share your truth, like I appreciate that. But if it wasn't even for this, you wouldn't even have that truth. Who would you share it with? I think we talked about that before, right? Like,
And you know what? I don't. First of all, I don't. I hope other people are getting something from this because you are not taking up too much of my time at all. Okay. I appreciate from the bottom of my heart everyone who's, here and being supportive and you sharing everything that you're sharing. I think for me, and I agree with everything you're saying, right? And I'm really happy. That's not the right word. I'm appreciative of being educated further in terms of what I know, right? Because I thought I knew something and now I realize that I don't know that. And no, but I think that that's the thing. Okay, for me, when I took African ancestry, the fact that there was any test that could do more than say, hey, you belong to Africa, okay, because that was my assumption is like, up until then, that's all I'm ever going to know. I can look at myself and I know I belong to her, okay, or I came from her. But the way how I took it when I took that test was, and now you're going to know. But the truth of the matter, as you say, and they do say this, okay, I'm not saying African ancestry doesn't say it, but I think that DNA, science, and so forth. At least for me, I'm no expert at it at all. Okay, I don't understand all haplogroups and all of this. It's like break it down so that as a common everyday person, I understand really what you're telling me. I understood from the get go that this is going to be my maternal line. Okay, I'm good with that. That I don't know from my father's side. Okay, I'm good with that, right? I'm good with that. But then to get the information, you're 100% this. I'm thinking my maternal line is 100% that. And then to find out, yeah, but it's a group of, it's like, had I known that from the get-go, you understand what I'm saying? It's like, okay, my mindset would have been focused a little bit differently. I'm very appreciative that I'm where I am now as opposed to where I was 10 years ago. But I'm just saying, it's just, okay, I got to sit with this for a minute.
So first, I just appreciate you sharing, but I think this is what Brother Montcalm wanted, right? Is for people to be able to share because we get stuck in these silos. Like when I first did it, and I'm telling my family, and I think we talked about this before. I was always the strange one, so it was just another thing that he did, right? And I'm like, no, don't you understand? We are from here, or here, or here, and so this is the only place I get to come share that, right? To unload my burdens of, like you said, what happens, what can't happen, and have a free space to do that in. And so again, thank you for sharing because that's what this space is for, so that we could come to those conclusions and either help or at least get a chance to release it and not let it sit in us because that has happened to me so much. It just sits there and it's like, I'll tell my brother or my sisters, and, they'll placate me because I'm the oldest, and they're like, yeah, 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 but nothing, right? When I went and when the king came and made me a noble, the only person who was there was my dad, right? And I'm like, man, don't y'all understand? We're like, when they talk about African royalty, that's a part of that. Like you're a part of that now. Yeah, that didn't mean nothing to nobody.
Well, you know what I
So
think? You know what, brother? You know what I think it comes down to? Okay, I'm reading your mind. Knowledge is everything. It's like basic. That's very basic to know who you are. If you don't know who you are, what is that? What does that say? Control the mind, you control everything. And so, we have had the hood over our eyes for so long. And so I think that's why it gets to be like, oh, I got to know this, right? Because if you don't know very basic, who are you? I mean, where do you go? Where do you go?
yeah, yeah.
Go with that, right?
Could I ask you a quick question? What you say you're in the United States, and I'll go ahead and say myself, I'm in North Carolina, which is one part of the slave states. What part of the United States are you from?
I'm in California.
You're in California?
I'm in
Okay.
Northern California, right outside of San Francisco.
Right. Okay. The reason I asked that question, I think some things might help you a little bit is knowing some of the history that will help you tie to who you are if you can find it. That can be difficult sometimes, researching yourself back through enslavement. Knowing the history of that might help you be able to figure out where you rest in you. Because I feel like I'm hearing that a little bit. I know you're satisfied with being Bamileke, but not knowing all the other tribes now that you found out might help you have some ties, which you already have ties with Brother Malcolm here, that may help you have a better understanding of what you have.
Yeah, so one thing real quick before, because I still see the professor on here. I don't want him to drop off again if he's on
Okay.
here. So
Okay.
we could just have him, if he's still on here, to jump in or chime in or
Well, Professor, it's yours.
Very, very.
Oh man, don't tell me you dropped after you got him up.
If not, I think it is very, very good to hear the others, to hear you talking, and it's very, very enriching for me.
Okay, so Professor, I think what he want to do is answering question now after the presentation. So anyone got any question, anything, they can raise their hand and then speak.
I have a question, Mark.
Okay.
To maybe provide some clarity. Regarding the Bamileke, there's different, I guess, subgroups.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, you're a Bafang,
Yeah.
correct? Okay. Is that also a place or a town or a city?
You mean like a Bafang?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a place. It's a place. It's a city. So, like I said before, is administrative division. So the city is called Bafang. The language is called Fet. Some people say Bafang
Mm-hmm.
language, but the language is called Fet. And then if you probably follow Brother Emmanuel Chamna, no, Brother Chamna, he does some Fet in on Zoom and YouTube as well. So that's the language. And then other Bafang group, they got their own language as well. So they no, not Bafang. Other Bamileke group, like maybe Banjul, they speak their own
So,
language.
okay. So my
It's-
question
Mhm.
is for the clarity part.
Yeah.
These subgroups, are they also places?
Yes, the places, yeah. Yeah.
So would it be safe to say that they are all still Bamileke, but just they're identifying from the place where they're from, the
Yes.
city?
That's exactly, yeah. That's what is
That is
exactly.
what would be less confusing for people to understand because it is coming off like you're saying I'm not really Bamileke because there's this subgroup attached to it
Ah,
and
no,
it's
no.
really a place.
We all Bamileke. We only got like a subgroup.
Right.
We all
I
Bamileke.
think
Yeah.
that is where the confusion is coming in.
Yeah. We are Bamileke. It's just like, in the house, you got you start with the same name. Family name is maybe Monkam, and then
Mhm.
you're gonna have a sister gonna get married. They're gonna move on to get a different name, but they're still part of the Monkam family. They're still part of that branch. So we all
Mhm.
Bamileke. It's only that there's
Right.
a different subgroup, but the whole group is a Bamileke.
Mm-hmm. Okay. That's
Does
all.
that does that answer any question? Anyone want to add anything? I
That
think
was
that
very
brother
helpful.
brother Monte is on the group. Maybe if you want to add something about it. Oh, maybe he grew up. Maybe it's not
Thank
there.
you, Sister Vonti. That was good.
You're
May
welcome.
I ask a question?
Sure.
So I'm so happy I'm here today. This conversation has just been so insightful. I did African ancestry. I'm 100% Tikar. I've also done ancestry DNA. And I found through my DNA matches on Ancestry, like 3 or 4 people who were African. But I've messaged them, they've never responded to me.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm interested when you start talking about GEDmatch, how did you all find your African connections on GEDmatch? Because that I don't know how to do, and maybe that would give me some additional people I could potentially reach out to.
First of all, how did you?
Brother Jerry? I
Yeah,
think
I was
that's
going
your
to.
question, yeah.
Yeah, it's in a way it's not hard to explain, but it's kind of hard to explain if you don't see it. Let me see. Is my picture up?
Not at the moment.
Okay. Now. Okay. It's kind of hard to explain in a way. What you do, you got to put it in, and there's different lines in there. Like you may not pick it up on, I think it's I forgot what you call it. It's like a line. It's not a line. I'm going to call it line 1, line 2, line 3, but that's not how it's pronounced in GEDmatch. There are lines in there where you can go in. If you don't find somebody that doesn't show that, you go to the next line. It's taking your DNA and it's going into different segments of your DNA, if I can say it like that. And you can look at it and you can look in there and you can find if there's anybody else in there. Gordon may be able to help me a little bit here too. What do you call that, Brother Gordon? It's like a L9 or something that you put it in, and then it'll take you into another part of it.
Yeah, I'm not sure on that because I've only done it through as
Let
far
me
as
show
looking
you.
for African is through the group African DNA, something like that, where
Yeah,
the sister is has tested Africans over there, and so you just look for her email. She's
you're
kind
right.
of the
Exactly.
thinger from that
Yeah,
group. So I don't know about the line part.
but you can break
I've never
that
done
down.
that.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
can
I just don't
actually
know
break.
that part.
Yeah, that's the part's hard to learn. You can break that down, and it gets into different lines of that. That's where I found one of my African ancestors that was in an ancient group. It's called the Gachi people. That we DNA test together. My wife and I both did with her, and another cousin by the name of Ibrahim. That's where we found it at. Let me show you a count. If you can see this, I don't know if you can see. Uh,
Brother
well,
Montcalm is bringing his up.
okay, so you can't see it. Yeah, it's hard to explain, but it's not hard if you learn it. That's a part I'm still learning myself.
Oh yeah, definitely. Also, I don't know if anybody else has found this on GEDmatch or not, but there's a module within GEDmatch, which obviously working off of ancestry DNA, you're talking about your autosomal DNA. There's a module within GEDmatch that looks at that autosomal DNA and can give you all your tribes.
Yeah, yeah. You're
Mhm.
talking about where it shows the exact chromosome that it's on and everything?
Well, here's mine. Excuse my scribble. I don't know how well you can see this.
Yes, I see what you're talking about. Yeah, I haven't seen that
Mhm.
before.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's a module within
Yeah.
GEDmatch.
right. Can you see this right here? I'm going to show you. Can you see that? Give you another
So,
idea.
so I think what we need to do is at some point just have a class on jet match because
Exactly. Yeah,
y'all
Yes.
getting a
I was
lot
going to suggest
deeper,
that.
That'll be
Exactly.
perfect.
and
Yeah.
maybe we can some if you all know each one of you got a specific piece and we all can share that and kind of walk through it together because I would definitely be interested in some of that.
I'm
But
actually trying to do like you. I'm wanting to learn more about it myself. I agree.
yeah, so Sister Michelle, did you have anything else?
That was it.
Okay, and so while
And I
he's trying to get that
apologize.
up, no,
And I
that's okay.
apologize. I didn't help you no more than what I did.
No, you definitely helped.
Yeah.
Every little piece. Just like this whole thing we're trying to do. Every little piece helps.
Yeah,
But I did want to get Brother Clarence McMillan. He had a question or comment, so I wanted to make sure he got an opportunity to share.
yeah. I'm trying to be quiet.
But that ain't gonna happen. So, Brother Clarence,
I'm actually on my JetMash account now, so I forgot how to navigate it. I know that's where you find your match. So there's some match I can find over here. So there's somebody called Toko, which is a Bamileke name as well, which is from the same Bamileke group. The person is in Cameroon, and then I got the second match here, which is Karel Ngana. That's another person based in Cameroon. So somebody called Sen Bamileke. And
so if you go to that one right there, right, this is uh, so the sister from DNA Tested Africans, right, .org. She has, made it her mission to kind of test Africans, mainly the chiefs
Mhm.
and kings. And so she manages this account. This is kind of how I looked up to see if there was anyone, at least on this particular way, right? So this is a sister who, again, who has tested someone. She has their account, and so if you match with that, or you find something that says uh, Jet Match DNA Tested Africans.org, then you know that that's someone from Africa, from the continent that you have connected with. Again, not necessarily Bamileke, but any of the countries that she has tested, and um, that's how that goes.
Mhm. So we're gonna let it to Professor Ahmadou.
I'm gonna step off real
Yes.
quick. Be right back.
You want to add anything? I think we've been on the meeting for more than an hour.
Yes.
So we're gonna have another 10 minutes before we can close the meeting. So anyone want to add anything or want to know about anything?
I just want to say this real quick. Brother Gordon, I was calling you Michael last week. I hadn't spoken to you so long. I want to apologize and get your name correct. Gordon.
Oh, good.
I don't have any other questions. I'm going to show Gordon I can be quiet.
Yeah, that ain't gonna work. Yeah.
Okay. What I could add is that those differences are very enriching because when you go deeply in different groups, in different tribes, you have to learn a lot naming system. If you say he's Bafang, in Bafang you have the naming system. This is different from that of Chang, different from Banjul. And if you know well the Bamileke society, you can differentiate those who are from Bafang, those who are from Chang, those who are from Banjul, from Bamenjida, from Bamenju, from Buddha, and so on. So it is very, very, very enriching. And these cultural, these identity differences, and for Cameroon, it is something very, very original. And tracing your DNA, reconnecting to the big Bamileke family, it is possible to go further so that you can reconnect to a very specific group that helps you to know what is the difference between this group and the other, and still at the same time belonging to the big Bamileke family. So we will try next for next time for next session. When we talk about the Bamileke, you can give some cultural and linguistic features, so which will be helpful to better understand that very original society. So for me, I can stop there, and but if you are there again, I can continue to listen and to answer if there is any question.
Yeah, thank you for that, Professor. So to add again, I'm actually working on the project, which I'm going to be able to share that maybe in a week or two. So it's actually something a house which is being built in the Bamileke area, and then we're gonna have like on the backyard a space where anyone who got Bamileke DNA, they can plant a tree over there, or they can put a plaque over there just to kind of like remember their family. So, like I say, anyone with a Bamileke DNA, anyone even without Bamileke DNA, you're welcome. You're welcome to be part of my family. You know, so when I'm going back home anytime, we can make the journey together. We can reconnect, and then we can learn from the elders in the village. You know, when I look at my sister Jackie the first time, I knew that I was like, if I see you in the street, I was gonna say that you Bamileke. You look like somebody from my family. Yeah. So that's what I
Awesome.
wanted to add, and then that will be shared sometime soon.
Okay. I think two things. One, Brother Malcolm, if you could bring up that QR code. Just wanted to remind everyone, if you can, there's no demand on anyone, but if you can share and help support what we're trying to do, and we're going to try to see. I had asked Brother Malcolm to see if there was any way how the data is over there, how, if the data could be upgraded or if that's just it is what it is. But we want to make sure that we give something to the speakers so that they can get the data that they need to be a part of this. So Brother Malcolm did a has a PayPal account that everyone can donate to, whatever that is, whatever. Again, no one's counting anything as far as who's doing what. It's just to help to one to support Brother Malcolm in getting the Zoom so that we can have the Zoom for the year. He doesn't have to come out of his pocket on that whole thing, and also for any of the speakers that we have that are in Cameroon that we can support them. Just wanted to mention that. The other thing that I would say is, every week that we come on, we want to make sure that we give some time to anyone who has anything to share, who has anything to bring up, because that was the essence of this platform, was to make sure that people who come in and really learn about their ethnicity, to have somewhere to go that they can share with no, no judgment. Like, we're all here together. And I understand how sometimes it is a lonely road that you walk, having been called, because no one understands but you what that journey is. So anytime that we come on, if you have something you want to share, don't hesitate to raise your hand, and we'll make sure that we acknowledge you. But that is a big thing with this meeting. So before we go, first of all, does anyone else have anything that they would like to share, bring up? We will always make time for that.
I
Hey,
just like
good brother Monkam, what's going on? You asked me a question, I was busy, but what was that again, please? Sorry, guys.
Oh, I forgot again. What was that again? I think no, it was Sister Mwendu question about the Bamileke group, because she was asking if actually the group are places, or if there's only like if you can call the whole thing as a Bamileke to be less confusing. Because when somebody is told that the Bamileke, and then they came to our meeting, and then they found out that in the Bamileke you got Banjul, you got Bafusam, you got Bafan, you got all that. it became a lot bit more confusing again. Though, so that was the question. Is it the question, Sister Mwandu? Yeah.
Yeah.
How can we make it less confusing?
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's only one biomilitary group. I mean, it's only one. Same culture, same spiritual system, same names, same role structure. The language might slightly differ from region to region,
Mm-hmm.
but I personally understand almost all of them. So it's the same thing. Those confusion were created mainly by the administration, right? By annexing some of these kingdom, but yeah, it's only one people, yeah. Mhm.
Thank you, Monty.
Thank you.
But I'm sorry, I appreciate that. But if that's the case, why do we hear, oh, that's not really a tribe?
Yeah, I mean, my sister. So I mean, we can define what's a tribe, from the English Oxford dictionary. Um, I will not call that a tribe. It's a group with many tribes per se. Now, yeah, it's been an argument about this classification, which me personally I don't like. That's why I usually like to go to my mother tongue, because when you start going to our own language, you don't see all this mess. So yes, I'll call that more as like a group. I mean, it's one of the biggest group in Africa as a whole. You know, I think my brother is here. I think he's Fulani. You will also say the same about the Fulani group, right? You got so many other family coming from the Fulani or the Wadabi. So, uh, yeah, not to create confusion, I like to always refer to that as a group. And when you talk about a group, I mean, you understand that it must be or it has to be some quote unquote subgroup. But really, those subgroups are superficial, because if you go in the culture, the food, the kingdom, it's the same exact thing. That's my argument. So there's really no difference. You know. Now you're gonna see slightly tonality in language for those who know a little bit of technicality. I would say, for instance, God, me as a faith person, right? Same group, I mean, same subgroup as Monkam. I would say, for instance, Sie to say God, right? Another person from Bafoussam would say Si, same exact things, just like that, pronunciation would change, but the concept that I'm referring to is the same exact deity. Um, yeah, yeah, I don't know how else to explain it. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Thank you, Brother
Okay.
Martin. So, does that answer your question, sister?
Sort of.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, I just wanted to add that the knowledge we provide here, we not is completely free. Like Brother Gordon say it's only to because when you got a speaker back home, it's quite hard to get the internet. I've been there myself, and then the data is not cheap. So it's only to be able to manage the data, to be here with us without them needing to afford to use their own, to use their own pocket, because obviously back home also they don't get paid a lot. So that's why we're trying to make sure that we can guarantee that, making sure that they got everything they need to before to be able to be here. Yeah.
Just like to introduce my wife, who is Tikar. She was in here last week, but she had to go on a mission today. But I just want to give her a chance to say hello to everybody.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
My name is
Hey.
June.
Hey, June.
Hi there. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
That's the
Hello.
professor.
Hi there. How are you doing?
Thank you so much.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you, especially.
She's not much of a talker, so you're gonna get much out of her.
Oh, that's good. That's good. That's good.
So, Yeah, before we get off, I just want to, make sure we give the prince and princess a moment to speak if they would like to.
Good. This was great. Glad to
Awesome.
be here.
Is Michael still on?
Yeah, he's probably at work though.
No, he's at work, yeah.
Okay. Okay, no problem.
Mhm.
All right. So if no one else has anything, the love is extended to everybody. This was an awesome meeting. Thanks everyone who shared. Thank you again, Professor, for coming on and giving your knowledge and giving us a way to go. Look forward to seeing you next week, same time, and we'll make this happen. One of the things I would say though, Professor, you might want to send Monty your PowerPoint so that it won't eat up as much data on your side, and maybe we'll see how it works. We might come in a couple minutes early just to see how it works, and it might be a little clearer thing. So we'll make it work, because everyone's excited. So
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
yeah. So if no one else has anything, we
Hey, how
can
y'all
close
doing?
out.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Hey, how
Yes.
you doing? Hey, my name is Nathaniel Allen. I didn't get to introduce myself the last time we had the meeting and everything, but I appreciate the African ancestry, because I felt like it was a piece of me that was missing, and when I did it, it kind of connected to the roots that I was supposed to, my DNA. So when that happened on my mother's side, it's Tikar from Cameroon, and on my father's side, it's my Bab Lakey from Cameroon. So that kind of made, uplifted and everything. So that was very good information that I needed, and to give me a piece of me back. Yeah, that's all I wanted to say.
Congratulations.
Thanks for
Welcome.
sharing. Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, brother. Michael said, thanks everyone. Glad to see everyone learning more about DNA testing to learn about your African ancestry. So awesome. So, Brother Malcolm, do you have anything before we close out? Okay, I guess not. He's dealing with the family. So thank everyone again. I would think, and I'll ask, uh, uh, how do you say Mondo?
Wendell.
Mondo, okay. Or maybe you or someone that, maybe when we start, and this is something you can think about, it doesn't have to happen, but we see who we can have to maybe pour libation to start galvanizing what we have. Um, I think that's one small thing we can do, which is actually big, to begin to integrate everyone into this as we walk in this discovery of our African ancestry. So, with that being said, everyone have an awesome day. I'm going to finish watching some football. And
Me too, brother.
yes, all right. Everybody have a good one.
All right,
Thank
stay
Thank
you.
well.
you. Take care.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.
All right.
Have a
Blessings.
Peace
blessed
and
day.
blessings,
Bye-bye.
everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Blessings.
Yes, sir.
Bye.